And that's what, 11 years ago. That same year, earlier that summer, he'd gone over to the British Open to play, and he had to qualify at Carnoustie. And I remember talking to Mike before going over there for his first Open when he had to qualify, and he said that he was staying in a hotel across from Carnoustie called the Hogan House Hotel. And he thought maybe that's a good omen, because Ben Hogan, when he won at Carnoustie in 1953, had to qualify as well. Well, Mike didn't win, and as a matter of fact, because he had to qualify and never had played links golf, the first round out there at a course called Montefiore, he shot 71, and he found the ball bouncing all over the place. The ground was so firm, he would be hitting an 8-iron 200 yards, so he had to adjust pretty quickly for the second round. And I had just flown in, and I got there for the last 5 or 6 holes. I found out where Mike was, and he was playing very well, but because only 12, I believe, out of 120 players were going to qualify, he had to really come in with a low round that day to get in. And he was in position to do that. And the last few holes, I remember, again, the ball was bouncing all over the place, but he had learned from that first round what to do, and he would hit, a 6-iron, landed 40 yards short of the green and run it up there. But on the 17th hole, and he pretty much knew that he had to finish with around 66 to qualify. He hit a shot in one of the pot bunkers off the tee and had a layup 90 yards short of the green, but he got it up and down and made par. And then he went ahead and shot 66, and he qualified. And you could see when he came off that 18th hole at Montefiore, he was exhausted from the effort because it was a tough day, it was blowing, but he had gotten into his first Open and proven something to himself. Then the Open conditions themselves were almost impossible, and he shot 82 or 83 in the first round, and he didn't want to talk to the press right after, which I think it took a while. It took a very short while for him to learn that it was his responsibility, in a sense, to talk to the press, which he began to do immediately after that. But he didn't then. He went over, he worked on the range, and the next day he shot 72 at Carnoustie, and he made the cut in his first Open, one for which he had to qualify. And he always said that he thought that his best chance at a major was at an Open as opposed to the Masters, US Open, or PGA, because he had to be so creative. Of course, he won the Masters, and he won it under conditions when there were rain suspensions, when it was wet, the course was soft, and again, everybody was saying, people say Mike Weir is short off the tee. He's not short off the tee. He hits it out there 270, 280, 290. He's middle length. Granted, there are so many bombers out there right now, but again, that doesn't bother him. He'll get the job done just like Zach Johnson did a few years later. If he has to make birdie with wedge, he'll make birdie with wedge. And that's what Mike did. And, I had started writing this book about him, and he goes ahead and he makes that putt on the 18th hole, and again, showed that he wasn't going to let anybody say that he couldn't do it. If he had to hit long irons into greens, fine, he'd do that, and he goes ahead and makes that putt on 18 to get in the playoff and wins. So it's purely a matter, somehow Mike Weir believed in himself, and a lot of that I think was forged early on playing in the Golf Association of Ontario, or OGA as it was then, tournaments. People who knew Mike back then, played with him, have told me that he hated making a bogey. He would find a way to make a par if he could, and if it meant getting it up and down, that's what he was going to try and do. And of course, we know that playing in Ontario tournaments, juniors, amateurs, invitation tournaments really mattered to him and sort of set the stage for Mike to go ahead from Brights Grove onto the world stage and do what he's done. And it's very clear that Mike belongs in any Golf Hall of Fame because of what he's done on the course. But as I was saying at the beginning of this, there's much more to Mike than his golf. He's wanted for years to use his kind of renown in Canada to do things beyond the golf course. So he and Bricia talked about doing some things off the golf course, and with the foundation. Now they're into the working with children's hospitals across the country with this Miracle Drive program, which is tremendous. He cares about kids. I've seen him with kids. I've seen him signing autographs, and he's just a genuine guy. When I did that book about Mike, when he won the Masters, I planned it before, and I certainly wasn't going to ask Mike to write the foreword or anything, but one day he called me up and he offered to do it. So he's a very thoughtful guy. He thinks about other people. He's considerate of other people. And to me, he's just kind of a regular Canadian kid who's gone out there and done well. He's turning 40 next week, a week today. I know he still thinks he's got some great golf ahead of him. It wouldn't surprise me any time if he goes out and wins another tournament, even this week. There are people who look at his results and say he's been having difficulty lately, but I think only that's going to make him just be more determined. I know how proud all of you are of him. I know from the emails I get across Canada that people are very proud of the way he conducts, he comports himself, the way he represents kind of a certain Canadian modesty that we all think about ourselves, that is central to our character, but also allied to a fierceness. And I know that Mike's family, Rich and Craig, are here tonight, and they have every right to be really, really proud of their son and brother because of the way that he has conducted himself on and off the golf course. And it's been a great privilege of mine to write about Mike Weir over these years, to follow him, to get to know him pretty well. He's just one of those golfers you want to go out and watch, because you'll learn a lot about what it means to operate in the highest levels of the game and to fight your way and to go out there and hate making bogeys and make pars and birdies and elevate yourself. He's tough and he's sensitive, and I guess that's the best compliment I can give him, that he's tough and he's sensitive, he cares about his game, and he cares about other people. So Mike, down there in the players, I know that we'll be hearing from him later, but we can all send a little message south to him that congratulations on being here. He's a tremendous new addition to the Ontario Golf Hall of Fame, and he'll continue to do everybody in this room and Canadians proud for as long as he wants to play the game and after he leaves the game for what he does off the golf course. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak about Mike, and it's a great privilege to do that. Thank you.